The world's worst round of applause for the intro. Hello and welcome to Claret Brew. It's time for an afternoon cup of tea. We've all done a bit of work. Nice to have a time off and talk about the Villa, isn't it, Matt?
I haven't got a cup of those, so I don't know whether you can WhatsApp me one or what. I'm just I'm gasping here.
So if you hold your hand up, shall I Photoshop one in?
Yeah, put one in.
That could be anything.
Yeah. I'm tempted. Today's Jesus Christ, can't use that.
I'm embarrassing myself now. Yeah, carry on.
I won't use that, don't worry.
Oh, come on.
Oh, go on, I might.
Don't get any ideas.
On this afternoon's episode, we're going to talk about some Aston Villa unpopular opinions. Now, we have done this before a couple of years ago, but it's nice to pull these things out of the bag every so often. So I approached the mailbag and said, ping me some unpopular opinions and let's see what you've got. We'll discuss them and maybe share one or two of our own as well. I'm going to dive right in with the shortest one that I can see. Unpopular opinion, ninja in the box. Sell Boubacar Kamara. His injury record is not worth it.
I don't think we'd be able to sell him at the moment. He's probably on crutches, but I get if you're signing footballers, you want them to be available. I think he's still, am I right in thinking he's still a relatively young man? How old is he?
He's got to be 20, he's 26 probably. 26, yeah.
So
I won't embarrass myself what I was about to say. Did that yesterday with Douglas Luiz.
well, mind you, I was hedging my bets there. You know, I could say pretty much anybody's a relatively young man relative to me. The ninja in the box has put it forward as an unpopular opinion because it's an unpopular opinion. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't necessarily think he's injury prone. You know, if you think about the injury that's taken him out this time,
yeah.
You know, how many people that listening, well, tie myself in knots here. I think he's still got many years to reach the peak of his powers. I think when he is fit, I think he's a wonderful footballer. I think he's underrated in Premier League and European football terms. If I'm honest, I don't see or hear much mention of him outside of Villa. I don't know. It's you create a problem, don't you? You create a problem if you sell a player who you know is of the level, certainly technically and ability-wise, even if perhaps not at the level of being available every week. You create a gap. Then it's left to chance. Do you sign a player who you think is as good as Boubacar Kamara, who you think has a fitness record better than Boubacar Kamara? That's still no guarantee that the guy who comes in is at that level for Aston Villa or is available every week for Aston Villa. And I suppose it also creates the challenge if we think that Boubacar Kamara is injury prone, are people going to pay the kind of fee that we'd need to replace him? So, yeah, very, very unpopular with me. That was well done. Well done.
John, would you rather have somebody of Boubacar Kamara's quality for 30 games a season that he's going to be fit for, or take the gamble on signing someone else and hope that they're fit for 55?
It depends how good that someone else is. I was going to talk about what Matt just spoke about there, about the, does that knock off, or how much does it knock off his actual value in the market, which is a shame to sort of talk like that in itself anyway. But again, we know the position we're in. Does it take out 15, 20 million maybe? If we think he's a 70-ish million pound player, Kamara or thereabouts, maybe it's only 60 that you'd get, or maybe less. I don't know. But he's obviously just signed a new contract. Well, he had signed a new contract back in last summer, so he's on good terms. Can we look at it slightly positively in the way that if Kamara was fit for 38 league games in the season, he probably wouldn't be a Villa player anymore? Would that be fair?
Possibly, yeah. Because Matt's right in a kind of jokey way that he's not going to leave this summer, is it? Because he'll be injured, most likely. Still.
Yeah, likely so. There may be another club that is willing to pay a certain amount of money, even knowing that Kamara may miss a portion of the season, possibly. But for Villa, maybe he is going to be a player who we know we can count on for most of the season, maybe just not all of it, and that actually, when we do have him, we are a top team.
Unpopular opinion from Guy Whittingham's Taylor. I think Konsa is overrated. I wince every time a high ball comes into the box, as I know he won't win it. That's why he needs to play with Mings. You also see the same when he plays besides Pau Torres. Is Konsa overrated? I don't think he is.
No, not for me. I don't think he's overrated. No.
I think if anything, he's underrated.
If anything, you'd probably say underrated. Yeah, we don't say just about Kamara. He doesn't score more than 5 goals in a season. That's not really his thing. And people will be saying, yeah, but he's a defender. It's a very different way of defending these days. And Konsa, I think, is one of the best in Europe, actually, at in the style of his defending, if that makes sense. So his one-on-one defending, how he can make dangerous situations, anything but, really. So yeah, I don't think he's overrated myself. We're not just going to disagree with all of these, by the way. Well, maybe we will, but I don't agree with that.
I've seen them all. We might. Is this in the same bracket for you, Matt, as the Kamara thing, that Konsa doesn't get the recognition outside of Villa?
It's one of those ones where, as Villa fans, we want our players to get just the right level of recognition, but not enough that people prize them away. So I suppose the fact that Ezri Konsa has been in several England squads means that he is kind of getting recognition. You know what I mean? And rightly so. I think I understand what they're saying in a way, but what you've got to remember is Ezri Konsa, unless I'm mistaken, obviously he was sent off at the start of the season, but he's pretty much been an ever-present, I think, in the Premier League. Is that fair, John? He's played most.
Yeah.
Most of those games in the Premier League. Villa have got, I don't know, let me just look at the league table. Villa have got, the conceded 27 goals, the third best defensive record in the Premier League, and he's played most weeks. I think he's a very kind of graceful footballer. I think he positions himself well generally so that he doesn't need to make those blood and thunder tackles all the time, although I think he's capable of it. I think the bit that can unnerve you about Konsa sometimes is I think sometimes he does come across as too complacent and too casual, but invariably he kind of gets away with it, or he knows what he's doing, basically. I've seen those big high balls. You're thinking, listen, just go and win the first ball or whatever. But, most times he will take, he'll step back and he'll wait until the kind of, the second action or whatever, and he'll still win the ball, but he'll emerge with the ball at his feet rather than, try to win it first time and not knowing where that initial clearance is going to go. So he's not immune to criticism. None of our players are, no footballers are. But again, it begs the question, the players that we've got have got us punching way above the odds consistently. So as much as they frustrate us because they're human and we see them and we scrutinise them so much. You take them away and you leave yourself a problem. And I think Emery Konsa probably fits into that category as well.
Aerial duels won for Konsa this season, 59%, and he's won 23 of them. For comparison, Tyrone Mings has won 58.5 and won 24. So it's basically the same in terms of the stats. Maybe it's Guy Williams-Taylor's, I don't know, maybe it's just in a game he doesn't feel confident about it, but the stats would suggest that they're basically the same in the air.
Debunked. Well done, John Townley. I said we might disagree with all of these, but I don't think we will, actually. Just had a quick skim through.
Debunked.
Next one from Matt Kendrick's Curtains. I assume that's hair
those.
Curtains.
I do remember those, yeah. I've got fond memories of those, yeah.
Yeah. When were the curtains last in action?
I don't know, it's more Matt Kendrick's blind now.
They say, I would rather the Premier League not be the behemoth it's become and go back to the days when football wasn't all about money and more about local players and supporters and genuinely being part of the community. Now, this one's for you, Matt, really. I don't know whether if I remember a time when football was about local players and its community. Does that even ring true for you?
Oh, mate, I remember when you could just get to the game and on the same tram as the players, and it cost you
for a tuppence or something.
Cost you half a shilling to get in. The ball would be made of wool. Actually, the kits would be made of wool, and the ball would be made of granite. Those were the days. I suppose Matt Kendrick's curtain suggests that this was going to be a wistful, nostalgia-fueled question. It's weird, isn't it? Because, listen, I don't remember the game quite being like that. I do remember the game feeling a little bit closer and within reach. And I don't know whether the person who's asking the question here is almost referring to the gentrification of Villa Park, of football, of becoming this corporate beast, rather than the working man's game or the working person's game.
How long has it not been like that though? 30 years?
A long time, probably since the early days of the Premier League, I'd have thought. And I don't really think you put that genie back in the bottle. You know, people have been predicting for 15 years that the bubble's going to burst, and that, you know, football can't keep, you know, eating itself, you know, with the way that wages go up and the way that broadcast revenue goes up. I'm really interested to find out. I'm probably wandering off topic here. You know, it's probably me saying that the bubble's going to burst, despite evidence saying that it hasn't. But, you know, if you think about all the dodgy sticks that are in existence now, I'm not sure how many people were paying the going rate across all the platforms that you now need to watch every single Premier League game. I think it's there's nothing to do with me. You know, unpopular opinion: dodgy sticks should be banned. They are wrong. Yeah, well, we want it. We want to feel closer to it. We want to feel part of it. And sometimes when you're forking out 70 quid for a game, it doesn't feel like the community game that it once was. I'm sure Villa versus Leeds 35 years ago, you probably could have got in for 5 quid. Obviously 5 quid would probably have got a lot further anyway. You probably could have got 2 pints for 5 quid. But I'm rambling. I'll leave it to you, young'uns. What do you think?
I think ticket prices are an absolute disgrace these days, and it's a problem across the game. But just the money, single games for me. Season tickets, it's kind of like a lump sum. You expect to pay a chunk of money, but for single tickets to be, I mean, like Leeds this weekend is, you know, 70, 80 quid for most adult tickets. That's just a disgrace. It's mental. So. And that's just a single ticket. It's not the travel and the food and everything else that comes with it. So football is, as Matt says, eating itself completely. I think there has to be at some point. It will blow up. I don't know how that looks, whether that's other leagues taking over the Premier League because we've just become too greedy or something. I'm not sure. But also, I remember when the Super League was going on and I was furious. But then maybe the morning after, I kind of woke up thinking, well, you know what, though? Like, if they just sod off, maybe the English game will sort of redefine itself a little bit. But at the same time, like the fact that happened was everything we needed to know at the point. And what was the fallout from that? I don't know. Did they get a slap on the wrist for literally trying to blow up the game? Like it's mental. So yeah, it's this is a much bigger kind of podcast subject for sure. But yeah, it is definitely, it's worrying. But at the same time, maybe it's what the game needs to kind of restart, essentially.
There are 3 comments of the 10 or so that we're doing that are all about life after Emery, okay? Now, I'm going to read them all consecutively because it shows how differing the opinion can be. This one's from Nassef and Wes, obviously. Unai Emery will be sacked by Villa before he gets the chance to leave. When will that be? No idea. But to me, that's how the Villa and Emery marriage will end with him.
They'd know, wouldn't they? To be fair,
just to clarify, that is not from them, and that's not news.
What's that going off, by the way? What evidence have we got that Unai Emery's going to be sacked at some point? It's been pretty good going. What's the
things change, I guess. Tim Sherwood gets in touch after turning down the Tottenham job to say within 3 years of Unai Emery leaving, Villa will be relegated. And from Ben, my unpopular opinion is that life after Emery may not be as disastrous as we all think, depending on who the replacement is. I think that's where I would stand.
Can I say, is that an unpopular opinion to say? I don't think it'll be that bad, depending on who we get. Well,
based off the previous one that we're going to get relegated.
My unpopular opinion is that I'll be really wealthy if I win the lottery.
My unpopular opinion is that we've had about 3 or 4 of these, and me and John have had to answer all of them, and you've not answered one yet.
Yeah, this is yours.
I'm the host, right? I don't have to. No, I agree with the last one, most likely. I don't think it will be as disastrous as we may expect, life after Emery. But you're right, John. Obviously, it depends on who the replacement is. You know, you replace him with Remy Gard, probably are going to be in trouble. We've got to such a position under Emery that whoever comes in is of a level, maybe not as good as him, but better than the kind of bargain basement we'd normally go to. But I also can see the other side of it, of the worry and the panic of we've built the club around this guy. When he goes, that is going to be a big change. I wouldn't say we'd be getting relegated though. A couple of years after, that'd be too far the other way.
I think we would have had to have new owners for that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings me on to Doomsday, and that would be that obviously the rules are, holding us back, and I can't imagine that Nassef and Wes are particularly happy about it. And obviously we've heard Nassef talk previously about asking for legal advice about it. That was some years ago now, and I don't think that's gone anywhere. He's obviously also said that this is his thing, controlling Villa, and he's got multi-billion-pound businesses. This is his sort of outlet, I suppose. It's very
this
different
is the fun
business.
stuff.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, yeah. And with Emery, it's like it's not a cheat code, but are we going to get better than Unai? I don't think so. And I just hope that life after Unai is manageable. Like, we're still qualified or competing for Europe, shall I say. I don't think we can expect anything more than that necessarily, considering the rules. However far down the line that is. And I just hope that, as I say, the owners are still, even after, again, this could be 5-10 years down the line, I don't know. But even after Unai, it might not appear that the future would be as bright, but hopefully they can at least have the sort of passion and will to go again under a new manager, and the club can go again. I'd like to think so anyway. I don't really want to be talking about it that much, but yeah, I don't foresee us dropping like a stone and going down or anything like that.
I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that a manager gets sacked, even one as great as Unai Emery, because that cheat code. I think we've done a pretty good job. I know. Listen, I say this: we've dropped points at home, Everton, Brentford, and etc., and poor the other night. But I think generally to maintain the position that we are in the league and the Europa League at this stage of the season, given some of the hand that we've been dealt, I think has been brilliant. That's not always going to be the case. Sometimes we're not going to get away with not having a squad quite as good or as deep as our competitors. And who knows? Now that Wes and Nas have got I'm on first name terms with them now that they've got a taste for the top end of this. There is they're businessmen, so I hope it doesn't happen. And so we got that one who says that Emery is more likely to be sacked than leave. What was the other one that
we're going
don't
down.
worry, it'll be fine when Emery's gone? And what was the third one?
We're going down in a couple of years. It's a real mix of opinions.
I think I probably would agree with the one that I'm not sure everything will be fine, but I don't think it'll be as unfine as us getting relegated by virtue of being knocking on the door of the Champions League or being in and around it for the last 2 or 3 years. It has elevated our status a little bit in terms of what we can attract. And, we probably say that we're getting more out of that, and we're getting more out of that group of players than we think a lot of coaches or any other coach would do. But that's probably a bit unfair to say that they're not a group of players that deserves to be where they are in the Premier League. So, it still is a very, very talented, group that if we were to sell them, would be worth a lot of money. But I'm one of those kind of doomsday ones where I do think that Emery has been so transformative. I think this is one of the frustrations about the hand-to-mouth existence of trimming your squad to try and get in, to stay the right side of the financial restrictions.
Yeah.
Aston Villa seems to operate so kind of hand-to-mouth at the moment not because of bad planning from the club, but because of these restrictions. Is that preventing them from thinking about a long-term succession plan in there? Because that's absolutely what we need. Emery has revolutionised our football club. We almost need him to appoint our successor right now. Not so he appoints him right now, but just so we've got that succession plan. Because if we wander off course and he is sacked, or if he decides to leave, starting that search from scratch worries me, because he's been so set up in Emery's image that we need the next Unai Emery. So I don't know if you're out there, but show yourself.
to guard against sort of negative unpopular. Sorry, come on, wise tangles. Unpopular opinions. We need to win a trophy, or hopefully trophies under Emery. That's one massive thing for obvious reasons. But also, we have to capitalise on the revenue opportunities, because if we don't do it now, we're always going to be behind the commercial six. And I expect that we probably will always be behind the commercial six. but at least be tagging along with them. But that's really important because it's, as I say, I can talk about tickets earlier, and I think it is disgusting to charge so much money for tickets. And I've always said to not put it on the fans, and I stand by that. But sponsorship opportunities and anything else like that, it's really important that you maximise it to the. Well, I guess building a new North Stand as well is. I mean, that hasn't happened yet, but hopefully that does happen. Should happen.
Okay, let's talk about those rules from Kendrick's unwashed shins. Unpopular opinion. FFP/SCR is doing us more good than bad. It's spoken about like it only affects Villa at the moment, but if it's removed, it's also removed for every other team. Newcastle would spend trillions, Chelsea and Spurs would go mental, and the mid-tablers could squeeze up too. Keep it where it is and let us outperform the rest.
I disagree. There has to be a cap. There has to be a cap of some sort. We're not saying open the gates and let Saudi Arabia, which is Newcastle, spend as much money as they've got. No, there has to be a cap. Of course, there does, but at the same time,
you need a cap, don't you, Kendrick?
It's like a total eclipse of my face at the moment. I don't know what's.
Sun's in his eyes for those listening.
There has to be a limit. And the point that we keep making is that Chelsea and City were allowed a much greater allowance, essentially, to spend money and have wages to revenue and all those things. Villa's is completely different and much smaller because it hasn't caught up with inflation. So for that reason, there has to be a greater allowance because it's pathetic that Villa can only spend 30 million quid or having to sell the best players after all the success that they're having relative to the other teams that they're playing or rivaling. But yeah, equally, you can't just let every team spend all the money that they can in the world. But I would argue that Man United are essentially doing that anyway, despite being in £1 billion of debt. They can spend £200+ million after finishing 16th and not getting into Europe. You might as well open the floodgates.
I do agree with the point of the opinion. I don't think it should stay exactly as it is, though.
But we're saying that because we had Emery, though, right?
Yeah,
if we didn't have Emery, we'd be saying, "Oh my God, we can't spend a bean."
Yeah,
and
we're rubbish.
Yeah, and it's not only, I mean, the UEFA rules are the ones that are really holding us back, but the Premier League ones are still going to be there. And we would have spent a lot more money had we not been in Europe and would still be pushing the limits of the rules anyway.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to the opinion before about like football in the good old days. Kind of take some of those elements and bring it up to 2026 of you can spend, but every club can spend 70 million every year, or whatever the smallest club financially can spend is how much the richest club should be able to spend. The wage ratio, whatever, everyone should be in the same boat as well. There should always be an academy player in the matchday squad, or something that kind of makes it feel a little bit like, this is Villa do it a different way to how Everton would do it, but we share similar principles across the league rather than you can spend and you can't.
Yeah, I just think catch up with inflation. I don't know why that hasn't happened. We're working on old rules, essentially.
Yeah. You got a blind, by the way, Matt, or some curtains? Do you want to go shut them?
I was going to say we need some Kendrick's curtains. I haven't actually. I've reconfigured my office space, and this is an oversight. At the sun, it's been done for about 6 weeks, and the sun's not shone since. So that tells you the climate that we live in. First of all, I think shin washing is overrated anyway. You just let
that is an unpopular opinion.
Let the shower water fall down and do its bit, and let gravity take its course. I think if all things are equal, we would back ourselves to have Emery, who is the difference because he's a magician and he can work magic and stuff. But that forgets the previous 15 years when teams that we're competing with were given advantages that is very, very difficult to overcome now, no matter how good your manager is. They've already, been able to get themselves in a place where, either their previous success means that the revenue that they can generate now, whether it's the size of the stadium or the size of the sponsorship deals, et cetera, gives them that edge. Or when they didn't have the same kind of suffocating rules that we've got now, they were able to just to kind of build that monopoly, basically. So something needs to be done to even the playing field for me, because you're continually locking us out, and not just us. Anybody who wants to go about it the right way but doesn't have the ability to do so. You're laughing at Townley.
No, you valid point. You got no lips.
Dan, can you Photoshop some lips on me, please? Just an unpopular opinion. I don't think that during evolution, I don't think lips were necessary. To be honest, what do they do?
They do something. God, I forgot what it was. I was told this a few months ago. Hold on.
What do you both mean? They do something.
No, that's what
without
it
your
says.
lips, guys.
No, you know what?
They serve lips.
I'm just searching on Google. Lips do. Lips are highly sensitive, muscle based. They
doesn't think you're searching for Dua Lipa, does he?
They're vital for speech, eating. That's a load of probably, but come on.
Protection, I would say as well for your teeth.
Different sounds. I didn't think the lips would be.
Yeah, try and say the letter P without using your lips.
Well, I can't take them off.
No. I didn't mean that, did I? Obviously. Right, forget this nonsense.
Kissing.
Yeah. Right, back to the show. Stephen Gerrard's tactics board got in touch. Nothing on that. A huge annoyance of mine for a long time has been our pre-match musical build-up and how it does nothing to get fans revved up for the game. Look at clubs like Newcastle. They do it perfectly, playing stuff that actually means something to the fans and the area. Fenerbahce had the fans ready to explode by kick-off last month. What do? Play hi-ho silver lining, everyone gets involved, and then kill any momentum in atmosphere by playing dance music or adverts. Look around when we do it, everyone is bemused. By the time they put Crazy Train on, it lasts for about a minute before the oh-so-wonderful Premier League anthem blasts out and gets booed. Does it get booed? I haven't noticed that.
Maybe they boo it.
Oh, yeah, fair enough, yeah. Maybe it's just me, but it needs a complete overhaul. The other night against Newcastle was probably the worst ever, combined with the light show. The atmosphere will always be dictated by what happens on the pitch, but with what we do now, there is nothing after a minute or two, especially if it's a slow start to the match. Now, we spoke about atmosphere, you and here, John, last week. The music side of it, though, is something we didn't really touch on and what the club can do in terms of its build-up. And I do agree with this one. I think the music choices are weird.
What are the suggestions? Is there any suggestions on there for?
No, not for me. Neither for me.
I think we've dealt with part of this on an unpopular opinion thing before. First of all, I don't think you can boo without lips either. So that's probably a good. That's one reason to get rid of them. That's one reason to send lips into room 101. The hi ho. It's just all it lends itself is with.
I think that's hugely overrated. Hi
ho Aston Villa every 20 seconds. The rest of it is nobody joins in with that. I think it's a difficult one because I spoke last week about the club. I think the club are trying. I genuinely do think they're trying.
I agree. Yeah, it
might fall into that. I don't know, corporate world of football that the club didn't used to try, and the fans are able to fill that vacuum. And half of me, you've probably heard this argument many times. Half of me thinks that. Don't play anything until the point where the teams come out. Don't play anything, just see what builds. I'm not sure whether the current clientele in the fan base would build. So I think you probably do have to try something.
Would the songs be songs that we have chance to?
I don't know. I'll tell you what used to work. They used to play "We Will Rock You" by Queen, and I'm going back to the mid '90s again. But it used to. I don't know. Maybe I was younger and more naive there, but he used to do it. He used to get us all going, to get us all frothing.
I think there's chance that we will have that are two songs, and I've got no examples off the top of my head, where you could play the actual song in the hope that it gets the chant going, would be a potential solution. But then
our chants
would be longer. Well, yeah, I don't know. Let's move on, though, because we've only got a few minutes left, and I want to get to some other talking points quickly. From the villain. Emi Martinez is a bang average goalkeeper. He's not the best in the world. He's just currently the best Argentinian goalkeeper. Argentinian. Who happens to be in the team that won the World Cup.
No chance.
There we go.
Why did
Still
Messi,
30 minutes.
Why did Messi not win a World Cup then?
Is that the same? Is that in the same way that Paul McCartney happened to be in the Beatles?
Yeah.
Is it that?
The first bit, if you think he's a bang average goalkeeper, that's fine, up to you. But like, he just happened to be in the team that won the World Cup. Is wrong.
He's not a bang average goalkeeper either, by the way. Sorry, well off. there's no way Argentina win that World Cup without Martinez. Absolutely no chance.
Agreed, yeah.
And the Copa Americas before that, penalty shootouts, everything. When was the last good Argentinian keeper? Like, I don't remember. Not in my lifetime, anyway.
I think his standards have slipped from where they were, but I think that's been exacerbated by the fact that we feel he's done us dirty a little bit. Yeah. So I think even if he was at the standards that he was, during the World Cup winning year or what he's done previously for Villa, I think there's an element of Villa fans who would think less of him because he made it clear that he was, didn't see this as a job for life and, was ready to seek pastures new. I still think he's probably at least in the top half a dozen goalkeepers in the Premier League. We know that a couple of mistakes have crept in, but we also know that he's capable of pulling off some ridiculous saves. I think he's still, for the most part, still good in all aspects of the game. As a sweeper keeper, I don't think there's many better than him, and he's crucial to the way Emery wants to play. I think we've seen probably the first goal at Arsenal, was it, where he's been a bit flaky for the cross, and there's probably sometimes where that's probably where his vulnerabilities have shown in aspects of his game this season. But even on that, I'd say that his defenders have got a duty to kind of protect him in those situations as well. I think bang average is harsh. I think saying he doesn't deserve to be a World Cup winner is harsh. I think he probably isn't the player that he was, but I'd still rather have him. I'm as much as I think we still like Marco Bizot, don't we? Despite his moment of madness the other day, we still kind of rate him a lot more highly than we did Robin Olsen. But I'm still more comfortable when Martinez is in the team. He's our first choice goalkeeper for a reason.
Yeah, there is one bit of that I agree with. He's not the best in the world. That's true. He's not the world's number one.
Yeah, no, I don't. No, I think for one point in his career, I do think he was there.
Yeah, okay. Final one then. Unpopular opinion from Unai Emery's blinkers. Unai Emery is rigid and inflexible in his style and tactics to the point where he is unable to react to specific one-off game needs that don't fit his philosophy. Need a goal against Brentford? Stick Mings up front for the last 10 minutes. Want to play 2 up front against Newcastle, second half? Good time to try Tammy and Watkins. You got nothing to lose. But he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, you can point to those things, but he ain't bad.
He just happened to be the manager that got us third.
I wouldn't say it's tactically inflexible, though. I don't think we can do what we're doing. What we're doing is a minor miracle. Right?
There was a period in the season when our substitutes were the most affected off the bench for winning points.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we can look at our players and maybe think, like, well, we have a good squad. Yeah, and who made that squad good? It's Unai. Like, he's taken over that literal same group of players. We've still got Dean Smith players, because that was a long time ago. Like, they're all, a lot of them are still here and is still performing to the point where we're third in the league, and we should probably win the Europa League this season if we do our talking on the pitch as well. So, yeah, we can like find little things here and there that he should have done, and I agree. Maybe those things should have happened. But I wouldn't say it's tactically inflexible. I think he's probably one of the best tacticians in Europe, to be honest. So
yeah, I think with these, I mean, they're unpopular opinions for a reason, right? Not many people listening will share the opinions that have been sent in.
It's been a podcast of battering
No,
opinions.
not at all. I think what I was about to say is I think there is a little, throughout some of them, there is a little element of truth. There are little bits that you can get on board.
Yeah.
Not everything's like, oh, you're completely mental. That's not the case at all. Listeners.
Yeah, like John says, can you write to our mailbag so we can spend half an hour slagging you off?
That's not what I hope we've not done that.
Yeah,
that's not
Unai Emery's blinkers. You need to chop your lips off, my friend. I think tactically inflexible is really, really harsh. I think he's got a way of
he
playing.
He can be stubborn, I think
yeah, he's got a way of playing, and he sticks very, very closely to that, regardless of the circumstances of a game, whether it's the first minute, against a lesser team, or whether it's the 78th minute against a top team. Play this way consistently, do it well, and experience has proven that this will create spaces that will create goal scoring opportunities, and he will stick to that. But he sticks to that for a reason. He sticks to that because it's been a successful formula. Now, I completely agree that me and you, Dan, have spoken about this lots of times post match when we've been chasing a goal, and it's like Ezri Konsa's seemingly got all the time in the world, and you're thinking, just play a 40-yard, play a 60-yard diagonal, and you never know, somebody will turn prime Chris Samba and get a header at the back post. Just get the ball in the damn box, and we've done that. But that's not listen, I think Emery does. I think we do go long. We've gone long more this season than we have in previous seasons under Emery. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think he's suddenly going to rip up the rule book just to appease us who want to see the ball moving faster, because he knows that ultimately his way tends to get results more often than not.
Sorry, we've gone from throwing Chris. We actually did that, throwing Chris Samba up front to this.
Yeah, good old days.
Tactical inflexibility.
Oh yeah. He wants to have a look. Unai wants to have a look, see if there's any kind of storing cupboards that have got a Steve Bruce tactics manual in there. That'll sort him out.
That is the end of today's Claret and Brew episode. Hopefully people enjoyed it. If the approach does seem that we just slagged people off, that is not the intention at all. We asked people to send in their unpopular opinions and we've reacted to them. Have we got any of our own quickly, by the way? Did you think of any, knowing we were going to do this?
I've got them, but I don't know if we've got time to talk about them, have we?
Okay. Should we do a part two?
Should we just say them but give no explanation? That'd probably be better.
Yeah, okay, we can do that if you want.
Yeah, you go first, John.
I don't know.
I think we should save that, and if enough people want it, we can do our unpopular opinions.
Yeah, okay.
I was just going to say, I thought Chris Kavanagh had a great game the
other night. Hey, tell you what, pancake day today, isn't it? That's crept up on me.
Yeah, what's it?
Hey. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, that went a bit flat, didn't it?
Hey.
I'm under real pressure here.
Are you having pancakes later today, or have you already had them? What's the situation? I bet you're not a pancake man, are you, John?
I had no idea it was pancake day, to be honest. So.
Unbelievable.
Just a little bit of sugar and a little bit of lemon juice. That's all I need.
Yeah, I think that's bang on. Yeah. Anything else is
popular opinion to end the show. Good stuff. Right, thank you very much, gents, for joining me on this one. Thank you for watching along or listening, and we'll catch you on Thursday or Friday for our build-up to Leeds United. See you later.